Now the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, I call our meeting today to order. First begin with approval of minutes for May 17th, 2022. Comments, questions,
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
A second.
First and second, any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. We'll begin with Commissioner comments. Vice President Baker.
Good morning, everyone. Just like to say thanks to all of the people that participated in our public hearing last week out at Hagerstown Community College. I thought we had a great meeting there that evening. Also, I did stop down to Clear Spring there and visited the wagon train staging there Friday night in Clear Spring. A lot of horses, a lot of people that were very excited, some great food, and it was just a great evening there in the Clear Spring community Friday evening. And also last night I attended the MML meeting, and I want to thank our executive secretary for having everything in order, in place. She did an awesome job, and John, you should give her a pay raise out of your pocket. So she did just did an awesome job.
Well, I was with you right. No, you're right. I had that on my list too, but I do want to thank Michelle for putting that all together, and I went off without a hitch.
And that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Kiefer.
Yes, last week several of us had an opportunity to attend the Historic Preservation Award Luncheon. I'm the Commissioner Liaison to the Historical Advisory Committee, and I know they do hard work every year to identify and to recognize those people in the community who preserve historic sites. And we had a little, some built-up awards during COVID. We couldn't have the award ceremony, so we had 3 years worth of awards to hand out, and I don't want to name the winners offhand because I know I'll forget one, but I believe around 7 or 8 people were recognized for doing good work in preserving Washington County history. Friday was the annual meeting for the Commission on Aging. I'm also a representative on that board, and I know many of us were at the celebration as well when we proclaimed May to be Older Americans Month. I just want to thank the Commission on Aging for the good work that they do, helping some of the most vulnerable people in our community. I also attended the MML meeting last night. I thank county staff again for hosting that, and our Washington County chapter of the MML for conducting the meeting. We had an opportunity to recognize 2 recently passed elected officials from Clear Spring and their families, the late Paul Hose and the late Ted Havermill, who spent decades of their lives working for the Clear Spring community. So just thank those families one more time for sharing them with the Washington County community. That's all.
Thank you. Commissioner Wagner.
Morning. Also attended the John Fry Historic Preservation event. It was very nice, very well done, and well deserving for the recipients. MML, I also like to thank the staff, Michelle, John, and anybody else that took part in that. It was a nice venue. It was just a nice meeting. And again, as Commissioner Kiefer said, honoring 2 of our elected officials from Clear Spring. Commission on Aging was great. I mean, I qualify for all that by far. So they do a nice job down there. They have a lot of programs, more than what most people realize, and they do the best they can on what they have. But anyway, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Again, thanks to all who set up the budget hearing out at the college. Appreciate that. I attended the MML meeting last night, and it was an honor, privilege to recognize Mayor Host and Councilman Havermill for the years of service they did for that community. Thanks to Michelle for organizing the event, and thanks for Krista for getting the plaques that we awarded to the 2 late council members up there. They were very poignant. The family really liked them. The Mayor Host with the picture in the background was quite touching to them, so thank you for that. I also attended the 32nd anniversary of 4 Star Athletic Complex In Williamsport, Nisa is a personal friend of mine and Commissioner Baker's. I think we've known her for longer than 32 years. And one of the main things she does there is a gymnastic program. She's probably touched the life of thousands of kids in her gymnastic program. And I also attended the John Fry Awards and the Commission on Aging event at their facility. That concludes my report. We will now go to staff comments. Anybody in staff here there? If not, Krista, anything from you?
No, sir.
Mr. Downey?
Nothing this morning.
Mr. Martorano is now I'm learning to say.
Thank you.
Martorano.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a joke again last night at the MML meeting. So, and Donnie Souders, the mayor of Smithsburg, I know he's working on it. So, next time I see him, I know he'll have it right. So, Martorano.
Like the song
But John is good.
Martorano.
I'd always tell everybody John is good.
John's easy.
John M.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
Obviously, we thanked everybody already, but I had it on my list to do too. Thank the staff for last week's budget hearing, Danielle Weaver, Katie Yoder, Krista Hart, of course, and Michelle Preby for all their help in organizing the budget hearing last week. And obviously, we already thanked Michelle and Krista for getting the plaques for the special presentation. And I want to thank Aaron at the Ag Center as well for helping. Any other thing I had, Commissioner Burkett couldn't be here today, and he sent me an email and asked me to read this. It's just a few sentences, but I told him that I would. So this is Commissioner Burkett. He said, I really wanted to be here today for today's important and exciting votes. Everyone has worked really hard on this year's budget. If I had been able to attend today's meeting, I would have certainly voted yes for the new tax rate, real and personal property tax rate, and the new 2023 budget. Thank you to all county staff for your hard work. I'm looking forward to all the exciting things happening in Washington County. So Commissioner Burkett couldn't be here, but he wanted me to read that during the meeting. So
Thank you, John, for including his remarks in our record.
that's all I have.
Okay. Any other staff reports that I missed? Next up will be citizens' participation. This is an opportunity for citizens to make comments to the commissioners about an issue or issues of county interest. This is not an interactive dialogue or a question and answer session. It is solely to hear citizens' comments and opinions about county interests. So we'll begin first row, second row. Any comments? Please come forward and name and address for the record, sir.
Good morning, Dave Williams, 11 West Water Street, Smithsburg. My usual disclosures for transparency, I'm a candidate for commissioner, my wife's on the school board. One of the purposes of government is to do the big things that we can't do as individuals. Government uses the collective power of the community to do the big things that benefit the community as a whole. The collective power of the community and the big things we accomplish together are funded by our taxes. Your election year tax cut will save the average household $79.19. That's less than 22 cents a day. Meanwhile, our Washington County community has no shortage of things we can only accomplish together. As an individual, my 22 cents a day can't hire a paramedic or an EMT. My 22 cents a day can't put a guidance counselor in every elementary school. My 22 cents a day won't put much of a dent in the waiting list for Meals on Wheels or other senior services. And even if I only chip and seal as an individual, I can't pave any county roads for 22 cents a day. If you're serious about tax relief and not just the appearance of tax relief in an election year, you'd be looking at a tax rebate for those who really need it. And finally, I couldn't come before you and not ask you once again to please explain why you can't, why you think you shouldn't, or why you just plain won't fully fund the Board of Education budget when you have a $16 to $20 million surplus. Or surprise everyone and tell us how you will.
Thank you, sir. Continuing with citizens' participation, next row. Anyone else wishing to come forward, citizens' participation? Please come forward, state your name and address, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Stephanie Phillips, a.k.a. Schlepo,
P.O. Box 1264, Falling Waters, West Virginia. Thank you for your service to the community. I'm here today to honor all military service members and their families from every country around the world for their sacrifice. I'm wondering if there is a historian or actuary who could estimate how many lives have been lost since the beginning of time fighting over things like religion, natural resources, treasuries, rebuilding contracts, and sadly, population control. Every generation asks, are we better off than our parents? For the first time in modern history, many are answering no, and they and their parents are seriously concerned about bringing new life onto the planet. September 21st is International World Peace Day. I'm suggesting it be put on the outside school billboards as the summer theme, saying something like, have a safe and peaceful summer. Labor Day is the first weekend of September. Labor might take on a whole new meaning. Grandparents' Day is the second weekend. The third Saturday historically in Washington County has been Citizens Emergency Preparedness Day and the Women's Expo. I'm suggesting the Women's Expo be moved to Sunday with volunteers at every library and invite the children to come with their mothers. These institutions are vitally important in such a technological age. These special interest groups can be coordinated, seniors, women's groups, children, educators, which includes our librarians, and children, to ensure this planet for generations to come. I've met a lot of really good educators while I've been here in Washington County studying homeschooling, civics, politics, and history. And Commissioner Wagner, I was very impressed to see you attend the Women's Commission meeting as the chairperson. Miss Ogilvy, Miss Williams, Andy Overton, the mayor, Miss Rubling from the Y, Dino Gelati. You have a lot of really strong leadership, and I'm really grateful for every thing I've learned. And I think I met your wife at the prime time. One of the best speakers I've ever heard, really, and I've heard a lot of really good speakers. You have a lot of leadership here. I'm sure there's other people that could be coordinated with the right leadership. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Is there any other citizen participation? Seeing none, we will move forward. First up on the agenda, we're a little early, is the approval of the modified charges, rentals, and fees at the airport. Folks, please come forward, introduce yourself.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kelsey Mace, Interim Chief Financial Officer. The Board of County Commissioners conducted a public hearing on April 26, 2022, and heard public testimony, if any, concerning the proposed modification of charges, rentals, and fees at the Hagerstown Regional Airport for fiscal year 23. An approximately 3% increase in T-hangar rental charges are necessary to maintain compliance with fair market value grant assurance required by the FAA, as well as aging facilities and operations. Increases in parking and landing fees are necessary to maintain a fee and rental structure for facilities and services at Hagerstown Regional Airport, which will make the airport as self-sustaining as possible, taking into account such factors as the volume of traffic and economy of collection. Parking and landing fees were last increased in fiscal year 19. So today we're asking for a motion to adopt the proposed rates and charges for fiscal year 23.
I'd motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. Next up, approval of modified landfill user fees. Please state your names and topic.
Hey, good morning again. Kelsey Mace, Interim Chief Financial Officer.
Dave Mason, Deputy Director with Solid Waste.
And the Board of County Commissioners conducted a public hearing on April 26, 2022, and heard public testimony, if any, concerning the proposed establishment and modification of certain landfill user fees for fiscal year '23. Currently, the cost of disposing a mattress or box spring is charged at $120 per ton, where the $10 minimum charge usually covers one mattress and one box spring. The proposed fee is $5 per mattress or box spring for up to 5, with any combination of mattresses and box springs, and more than 5 would be charged at the current weight of $120 per ton. There's also a proposed fee increase for compost due to increased costs of the process. All other fees would remain unchanged. So we're asking for a motion to adopt the proposed landfill charges for fiscal year '23.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next up, please introduce the subject and the matter.
Morning again, Kelsey Mace, Interim Chief Financial Officer.
Mark Bradshaw, Director, Environmental Management.
And the Board of County Commissioners conducted a public hearing on April 26, 2022, and heard public testimony, if any, concerning the proposed modification of water and sewer rates. So included in the increases are only lab contracted services, and certain increases are being proposed due to a change in contract. All other rates, including the quarterly consumption rates, would remain the same. So today we're asking for a motion to adopt the proposed water and sewer rate schedule for fiscal year '23.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next up, county income tax rate, Mr. Downey.
Commissioners, pursuant to direction received from the board, the proposed resolution establishes the county's income tax rate at a rate of 2.95% for all taxable years beginning on January 1, 2023 and thereafter. It also provides that the current county income tax rate at 3% will be of no further force or effect as of December 31st, 2022.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
First and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Next up, county real and personal property tax, Mr. Downey.
Following the budget hearing and pursuant to direction received from the board, the proposed resolution has been prepared, establishing the county's real estate tax at 0.928 per $100 of assessed value. It establishes the real estate rate for property inside of municipalities as 0.803 per $100 of assessment, and further provides that the tax rate on personal property and operating real property is established at 2.5 times the tax rate for real property.
Okay, Commissioners,
Motion to approve.
is there a second?
Second.
First and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 5-0. Next up, Kelsey, adoption of the operating budget 2023. Please introduce yourself and the matter.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Kelsey Mace, Interim Chief Financial Officer. The Board of County Commissioners conducted a public budget and tax rate hearing on May 17th at 6 p.m. and heard public testimony, if any, on the proposed fiscal year '23 operating and capital budgets. The fiscal year '23 budget process has been a collaborative effort where the Office of Budget and Finance worked alongside departments, the administration, and the board. The fiscal year '23 proposed budgets provide relief to our citizens, incorporating a reduction in the property tax and income tax rates, as well as not increasing water and sewer rates, maintains services, provides increased funding for education and public safety, and meets infrastructure needs. The final proposed budget includes changes to incorporate the OPEB contribution based on last week's retiree health subsidies discussion and the requested increase to the Department of Social Services for the Dad's Connection program. And attached to your agenda item is the final listing of the budgets for all of the funds. So staff is requesting a motion to adopt the fiscal year '23 operating and capital budgets.
Commissioners, thoughts, comments, motion?
So we want a motion to approve just
Yes.
one or both?
Do both if you want.
It says move to adopt proposed FY '23 operating and capital budgets. So I'll make a motion to approve both as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
First in 2 seconds. Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 4-0. And just note that Mr. Burkett did send a comment in for the record. Okay, thank you. Passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelsey, for everything you and your
Very good,
staff have
very
done.
good. A lot of
Thank you
work.
guys for your
A
support.
lot of work. Next up, FY '23 Healthy Families. Rachel, please introduce yourself and the matter.
Good morning, Rachel Souter, Senior Grant Manager, Office of Grant Management. The Washington County Office of Grant Management, on behalf of and at the direction of the Local Management Board, is seeking approval to submit a fiscal year '23 Healthy Families Home Visiting Grant application to the Maryland State Department of Education. The Healthy Families Home Visiting Program is a comprehensive program modeled after a nationally renowned initiative, Healthy Families America. The goals of the program are to prevent child maltreatment through early intervention, promote healthy growth, development, and strengthening of the parent-child relationship. Funding in the amount of $6,606 is included in the award for county administrative support. No county funds are involved in this award.
Commissioners, thoughts, comments? Motion?
Motion to approve.
Or second?
Second.
First and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next up,
Now we're gonna have to wait. Yeah, we're way ahead. We're gonna,
well, we can, Rachel, Commissioners, we're way ahead of Rachel's next issue or concern 1110. Would you like her to proceed, or would you be ready
let's say,
to proceed at 11?
but I think someone else was coming for that presentation, right?
We're way ahead. We can take a break until someone shows up.
How far are we ahead? Good ways, aren't we?
Yeah, we're like, I have-
All right, let's take a 5-minute recess till Chris shows up. Thank you. 30 minutes early. Order here, we're going to begin with the American Battlefield Trust purchase. Chris Boggs, please introduce yourselves in the matter.
Good morning. Chris Boggs, Rural Preservation Administrator, Planning and Zoning. This project is a proposal from the American Battlefield Trust to purchase 2 properties owned by Safe Historic Antietam Foundation just south of Sharpsburg in Washington County. What we'd be doing would be a land preservation easement and subsequently the ABT, or the American Battlefield Trust, would take ownership of the property. So we've done these in the past, and we're requesting approval to submit a grant as a county to the National Park Service American Battlefield Protection Program, requesting $122,856.19 in funding, as well as accept the funding as awarded. The American Battlefield Preservation Program requires that there's a government sponsor. So the American Battlefield Trust came to me asking if Washington County would be the government sponsor for this program. So we've partnered with them in the past for other projects down around the battlefield on Sharpsburg Pike, and those areas, these small parcel programs. They're not they're not going to take up more than a couple pixels on the preserved lands map, but they are significant to the battlefield because they're right there, in Sharpsburg, right next to the battlefield. So they do have some historic significance. This project would involve the acquisition of the Safe Historic Antietam Foundation property at Antietam by the American Battlefield Trust, subsequently to the easement settlement by us. All required acquisition and financial documentation will be provided by the ABT to us for review before we submit the grant to the American Battlefield Preservation Program. The way this works is there's a 50% match between our portion and the federal portion. So 50-50, and the American Battlefield Trust will be actually providing that 50% portion, in addition to that 50% portion, which is the 122,000 number. They will be providing us 3% admin and 1.5% compliance, just like our DNR easements do. The same as with DNR, there will be recurring expenses because I'll have to go out and inspect the properties for compliance. We estimated 4 hours per year, but it's probably going to take me all of 5 minutes to inspect these small parcels. But, we'll try to be, fiscally responsible about that in case I get stuck out there for some reason one day. The long and the short, there's really no fiscal impact other than, the compliance and admin costs that are actually coming to us with this. So the recommended motion would be to approve the request by the American Battlefield Trust for Washington County to act as the government sponsor for the grant application to the American Battlefield Protection Program and for the county to hold that subsequent easement. Any questions?
Chris, what kind of inspections would you be doing? Just making sure the easements aren't built upon?
And these, this is kind of a unique program. These are actually residential parcels just outside of Sharpsburg. And so at the onset, for the first several years, you're just going by to make sure that they haven't built any additional structures on the property. It restricts them from the tenants at the time. It would restrict the tenant from building any additional sheds, garages, no more dwelling units. So they would just have to essentially stay looking like the residential parcels they are. Eventually, the American Battlefield Trust intends to essentially demo the properties and convert them back to the land so it looks like it did when the battle occurred. Okay. So that was their intention with some of these other easements we've done for them, and that, to my understanding, is their intention with these acquisitions as well. Okay. And at that point, my monitoring responsibility would be to make sure that there's nothing on there.
Commissioners, any other comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Or a second?
Second.
First and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Rachel will now, I think, get back to Healthy Families Home Visiting. Would you introduce yourself in the map?
We finished the health.
Did you finish that one? Okay, I'm sorry. We're down on Day Reporting Center. Thank you for the reminder.
Rachel Souter, Senior Grant Manager, Office of Grant Management. The Day Reporting Center is requesting approval to submit an application to the Opioid Operational Command Center requesting $107,261 in funding to support increased cost of operations and accept funding if awarded. The main function of the Day Reporting Center program is to provide community supervision, intensive treatment for substance use disorders, and intensive case management services to offenders in order to reduce recidivism, jail population, and corrections-related costs. The program benefits offenders under probation, pretrial supervision, and those sentenced directly to the program. This funding will be used for the increased cost of community supervision monitoring devices, drug testing devices, transportation, rental assistance at a recovery home, parenting classes, and written marketing materials. The Office of Grant Management has reviewed the application. The grant has a one-year performance period to begin on July 1st and end on June 30th, 2023.
Commissioners, comments, thoughts?
Motion to approve.
First, is there a second?
Second with just a question, how many patients or clients do you have in there at any given time?
Currently, we have 30. Typically we have anywhere between 28 and, since I've been there, between 28 and 38 or 40.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Vote, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next up, Susan Grimes. Good morning, everyone. Please introduce yourselves in the matter.
Good morning, Susan Grimes, Director of Business Development. And with me today, I have Herb Melrath from the Maryland SBDC location here in our Washington County Office of Business Development. Today, we're just here to share with you the ongoing growth and successes that we've shared with our partnership with the SBDC and Herb, and give you a little overview. Frostburg State University is a small business development center host for Washington, Allegheny, and Garrett counties, with an on-site representative in all three counties. So for about the last 15 years, the Washington County Department of Business Development has hosted an on-site representative in our offices for the Western Maryland Small Business Development Center, with the shared mission of growing our county's tax base through ongoing support in the creation of new businesses, and by guiding entrepreneurs through their process and providing resources and feedback for a successful startup. Together, we've forged many relationships with small business owners and entrepreneurs, as well as ongoing relationships with large community organizations such as Hagerstown Community College and the Fletcher Center for Entrepreneurial Studies, which is also known as the CBIZ, the Entrepreneurial Council of Washington County, the Washington County Workforce Development Board, Small Business Administration, and several others. Herb has also been a large part of our team for 5 years as the SBDC representative, and has been a tremendous asset to us. Not only has he been a great resource for our business startups, but he has also committed many, many hours to helping us through reviews of hundreds of Rise Up Cares grant applications. So thank you for all of that. So as we emerge from this pandemic, I wanted to share the impressive year-over-year numbers with you that the Small Business Development Office has seen within our Washington County business sector. So with that, I'll let Herb talk about his numbers.
Oh, okay. As you probably have, I had done a PowerPoint for Susan just to show what we've been doing since about 2019, and just show from pre-COVID through COVID and where we're heading now after COVID. So part of my metrics is actually just the number of clients that I see every day or throughout the year. So, started 2019, started about 128. During the COVID year, we were up to 197, and now the year-to-date that we run from October to the end of September. So we're sort of just halfway through the year, a little past that. And so as of 2022, right now, I've seen 109 individual clients since then. As far as business starts go, 2019 was a good year with 16. Then, of course, COVID hit. We had 10, then 8, and now this year to date so far, I've had 5 business starts, which I'm looking at to probably have the way, hopefully, if everything works out, we'll be back up to about 10 by the end of September through October. As far as capital infusion goes, pre-COVID was about $2.4 million. When we look at capital infusion and equity, that's basically with clients that I'm helping support with the loan process, getting loans, whether that's through banks, Tri-County Council, any kind of investments or grants. So that was like $2.4 million in 2019. Of course, with 2020, that was the PPP loans, EIDL loans. That's when we got really busy through that time. And also with the county grants that went through, had that as well. So that was up to 4.6. 2021, it sort of dropped down to 2.5 again, which was normal. This year to date, I'm at 3.4 million, and the year's not over yet. This year has been different from my perspective because I'm helping a lot of, well, not a lot, probably about 3 or 4 businesses, people that want to purchase existing businesses. So whether they're selling, people are retiring, that sort of thing. So we actually, with the SBDC, helps either the buyer or the seller through the process of putting a business loan together or helping get their business ready, or a person that wants to purchase an existing business, make sure they're ready to do the same thing. So my numbers this year is helping with that. So they're the sort of the 3 main metrics that actually were funded through the SBA as well. So these metrics I've just talked to you about, we also report back to the SBA as far as us being able to get money.
What is the typical, give me a typical, I'm just curious.
Sure.
Typical example of somebody would come see you tomorrow. What would it be?
Mostly people that want to start a business and they don't.
So if I want to open a corner store, retail or something or anything, I'd come see you.
Yep. I'd help you through the process of getting your business registered, helping you through the business loan, setting up financial projections. If you haven't already been to a bank, help through the bank, actually helping a person explain to them what it means to start a business, and see if they're the right person. The SBDC, we also provide monthly webinars that goes through all the basics, and right now they're still free or to low cost. There's some that are charged, but most of them are still free.
So there's no fee from you for someone that comes in?
Nope. I get paid to do this, which is, I love my job because it's nice helping people, get that business started.
And would you discourage somebody if you knew they were, or would you just try to change direction?
I don't necessarily discourage.
Yeah, that's probably a bad word, yeah.
Yeah, I let them make that decision.
Gotcha.
Going
You
through
give
this,
them the pros and cons and
and they realize how much work it is.
Right.
And sometimes it's just not for some people, to start a business.
So Randy, that's a good point because I wanted Herb to kind of maybe name off a few of the businesses that are pretty recognizable that Herb has helped our team get up and running and off the ground. And most of them, if not all of them, went right through COVID with the support of Herb in our office.
Cannon Coffee, Soldier Fit, Ready, Set, Play, the Antiox Juice Bar and Wellness Center. They're the big ones so far. I've got, just within the last year, was Cindy's Old Time Country Store in Williamsport, Get Right Barbershop that just opened in Williamsport, Sandy Jack's Country Roads Deli in Hancock, and and then Foundry's Pop-Ups that just opened down.
Yeah, I'm familiar with all of them. Would have never, I just didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I just, we're here to help, and that's what I do, help those businesses get up and running. And hopefully help them after the fact, too.
Anything else?
Nope.
Commissioners, any other questions? If
Thanks.
not, thank you very much. I appreciate the update. That's very interesting, Herb. Thank you. Next on our agenda is closed session. Motion to go into closed session.
Motion to go in closed session.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Closed session.